3 things that I want you to consider when you think about your earnings as a self-employed plasterer. So what's the average earned income in the UK if you were cards in with a company, and let's say you were a plasterer now, you were working for a company in your area with holiday pay in a van. Now I know that living in Coventry in the West Midlands, because I've researched it, if I was to go cards in for a company, I might earn between 28 grand and 35 grand a year, depending on who I worked for and what I was doing. But typically, if I was out plastering houses for 40 hours a week, I'd typically have a works vehicle, 28 days paid holiday a year, and I might be lucky to earn 35,000 a year, maybe, tops. So if we're going to go self-employed and be willing to take on all that pressure, all that stress, all that anxiety, and spin all these different plates, I think we need to be aiming to earn significantly more than what we would earn in a job doing what we're doing day in and day out. So that's my thinking. But on top of that, there's multiple reasons why we go self-employed. Multiple reasons. And one of the reasons is because we think we're going to earn more money, and we'll come on to that. But there's many other reasons why we go self-employed. So I'll tell you what my reasons were. When I went self-employed, it was because I was fed up. And what I did is I hit pen to paper and I wrote down, in my ideal world, if I could work anywhere near my home, where would it be? Which areas in my city or in my region would I like to work? Where would I like to work? So I sort of had an idea of the best neighbourhoods and the best places, the most affluent neighbourhoods. I thought I'd like to work there. And then I thought, who would I like to work for? Because most of the time when we're working for other people, we get pissed off with who we're around and who we're working for, and the kinds of people that we're exposed to every single day. Let's think about this for a minute. Our working lives are where we spend most of our life, most of our hours. It's not with our loved ones. It's not doing the things that we, really want to do most of the time. It's at work. So if we're going to be spending the bulk of our life and most of our hours at work, in an ideal situation, we need to be choosing who we work for, number one, where we work, and then, of course, we'd like to choose how much we get paid. Another thing to consider is a lot of guys and girls go self-employed for lifestyle choices. So they might have little children. They might be in a carer role, for example. And going self-employed might make sense for them, so they've got the flexibility to work when they want and how they want without the demand and the restriction of a job. So that's another thing to consider. It's not all about the money, but money is important, of course. So cherry picking was my thinking when I went self-employed. I wanted to cherry pick where I worked, who I worked for, and a domestic plasterer fitted that role perfectly for me and my lifestyle choices. Think about the average earned income. Let's aim to earn significantly higher than that amount. Think about where we are on the spectrum of self-employment in terms of skills and ability, and how long have you been in the game for? Because someone that's been in the game for 6 months or a year, their earnings are going to look different to an experienced plasterer that's been in the game 25 years. Typically, not all the time, but typically speaking, it's going to look very different. And my last point today, guys, is the market. So before we go out there thinking I'm going to command £2 a week, we've got to look at the market and what we're doing in the marketplace. What are we doing? So if you're skimming wools, for example, if someone says, can you come and quote to skim my lounge, and I walk in and go, £2,150 please, I know for a fact that Joe Bloggs is going to come behind me, and so is 10 other plasterers, and they're going to cut that price in half straight away. I know they're going to do that. So, and sometimes that might be because they're faster. They're willing to put more hours in or graft hard. I get that. I understand speed comes into it, but I'm talking as a generalisation. If you're in a market where you're skimming wools, just deciding to raise your prices because people have told you to won't work, because the market will tell you what you can charge for the services that you're providing, not anyone else. The market will tell you, because what they'll do is they'll keep rejecting your prices over and over until you hit a sweet spot where they go, okay, I'm willing to pay that consistently. Now and again, you'll put a price in, you'll have it accepted, might be a lot higher than you would have thought. But I'm talking consistent, year in, year out, week in, week out, day in, day out. There's going to be a sweet spot where your customers will accept and give you the green light. And if you go way, way above, hundreds of pounds more than your competition in your local area, even if you drive the nicest van and you dress as smart as you want, you're cleaner, you've got more reviews, which is what I always aim to do, improve myself and differentiate myself. Even if you do all that, the marketplace isn't going to pay you double or triple just because you're tidier and you've got a better reputation. They'll pay you more, but not silly amounts more, is what I'm saying. So think about the market. And my final point, guys, on this video, if you do want to raise your income levels, if you want to earn more money, my advice is this: specialize in a niche area that no one else is doing near you where you live. It could be soundproofing, it could be spray plastering, it could be lime plastering, it could be insulation, it could be rendering, it could be a product that not many people have cottoned onto yet. It could be that you just do things in a different way that creates more value for the customer. So think about that. If you want more money, then specialise, because you can't just say, well, I'm raising my prices and everyone's going to have to just accept them, because you can raise them a little bit incrementally, but if you go out like bolting on 200, 300, 400 pound more than your competition, and you keep doing that, you keep getting prices rejected, and that means you've got to get more and more and more leads in, and it's going to become harder